no, 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 no. I, yes, I did say I would use that song for an intro, but I was just kidding. I can't play that song on YouTube. Why? First of all, copyright infringement, and the lyrics of that song will probably get me kicked off YouTube. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Production team. Okay, let's work on another song. Until then, let's let her rip. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome you to this week's episode of Wrestling Gold Friday Night. Yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we made it to Friday, and thank goodness, man, today was a long day. Of course, it was Friday after rain day. So of course it was freaking busy. Did a lot of, like I was playing yesterday, did a lot of windshield time, then some. So ready to get the weekend started. Of course, talk about some classic wrestling. Of course, pretty sure a lot of you are kind of busy watching the undercard of the Mike Tyson Jake Paul event. So seriously, folks, who do you folks have? Are y'all going for Mike Tyson or Jake Paul, or do you think? Uh, anyway, so anyway, to all those men and women who work during the week and ready for the weekend, and salute those folks who are having to work for the weekend. Cheers to you all. Got to open it first, right? Cheers to you all. Be safe. Go dogs. Gotta be proper. Anyway, yeah. So how's everybody doing this week? Let me bab on a little bit. We're gonna hello Karen Poole. Before we get started here, let's do the usual BS. Hey, if you're watching this live, join me in the chat. Uh, ask questions, share some memories of anything I talked about this evening, or just pop in and say hello. Joking, do not care as long as Tyson beats that ass. Uh, yeah. What's going on? Not much joking. I just I don't know. I mean, actually, I do believe if this was on the up and up and not a work, I believe Tyson probably would. Tyson probably would beat the hell out of got a chance. Jake, that's what I said. Jake Paul. I said Tyson Paul. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. How does she use last name? Logan Paul. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. As much money as probably being made on this thing, uh, trust me. Tyson was never a. Uh, there's maybe a couple times if I can remember correctly where he actually went the distance, but he was never go the distance guy. So it ain't gonna be 12 rounds. If it does go 12 rounds, there you go. uh, but I think if this was on the up and up, I'm pretty sure Tyson is still knock a fool out. Um, and I mean, as a I guess fan of this, I would hope Mike Tyson just because I mean nothing against the guys. He just like LA Knight said, I'm not a 14-year-old girl, so not a fan. Uh, or I'm not a teenage girl or 20-year-old girl. I'm not a woman. Period. No pun intended. But anyway. So yes, if you're watching this live, sorry, Cal changed it about this exhibition fight tonight. Probably did. Who knows? Anyway, yeah. So yes, if you're watching this live, join me in the chat. Uh, pop in any memories you have about anything I discussed tonight, plus, or just say hello. Also, if you're slightly entertained by this, give me that thumbs. Click on that thumbs up, but don't give me a thumbs up. Click on that thumbs up button. Also, be a champ if you're not a subscriber yet. Click on that subscribe button, and also click the notification bell so you know when all my content. Because I got usually do a AEW Dynamite show, recap Raw show, trivia show, and two live. So I try to keep kind of busy on here. It's kind of relaxing and therapeutic. And I just like to talk about wrestling. And it's open to everybody, of course. Indie fans, AEW fans, WWE fans, TNA fans, New Japan Pro Wrestling fans. I didn't even know what is today a holiday? So I hear fireworks or something. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So yeah, all that out of the way. Let's let this thing keep going. Hello, Brendan Watson. See, say hello, and I'll say hello right back. Sorry, yes, we're not matching again. I have good spiritual water. Well, first this, of course, but then water. But, yeah, so hopefully everybody has a good week. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend. Uh, of course, nah, we got to set the New Japan guys or guys and girls. New Japan, All Japan, AAA, CMLL. Uh, just if you are from Japan or Mexico, understand I is Southern. I barely speak good English, so they're so that Spanish I wasn't too. I know uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, tequila, burrito, taco, fajitas, queso, uh, mamacita, margarita. What else? Oh, we do got a Mexican guy who works for us. He called me once, El Loco Gringo Diablo. Don't know what that means, but hey, it sounds freaking cool. And so I never got mad about it. Hey, he's got a pretty cool guy. So anyway, yeah, New Japan, All Japan, CML, AAA, any independents, uh, Northeast, Southwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, Northwest. We accept it all. I accept. But yes, this is Wrestling Gold Friday night, where we talk about the good old days of pro wrestling. Back when wrestling was wrestling, back when wrestling was real. Before that jack off freaking Vince McMahon screwed it all up. But I talked a little bit about that last night. Well, Vince McMahon is not running it. A little bit last night on the Spot Show live stream. Go check it out after this course, where I talk about the whole WWE ID thing and things they're doing to trying to get, to build up a talent pool. Uh, no, not all of them. Just supposedly the illegal. We don't talk politics. Yes, we said Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party. What else are they? Libertarians, yes. Libertarians, Green Party, all the above. I kid. I know. But yeah, but due to tell the absolute truth, he's just going to send plus to send illegals back. Gosh, I don't want to talk about. But apparently they right now they supposed to have this wonderful woman as president of Mexico now. So and Trump's supposed to be this very bad person. So maybe they'll just kind of sneak back over on their own. I don't know. The illegals. Nothing gets them. I work with a bunch of uh, Mexicans being in the field I'm in. Pretty nice folks, though. Pretty nice folks. Never had really a problem with one of them. Met one time. I mean, dude was tatted up and everything, but you can tell they were like gang related, and and that's what happened. When he was in Mexico. This is probably about 10 years ago. Uh, this one of those deals where concrete was laid. We're sitting there shooting a breeze, and I noticed all his tattoos and stuff like that. And side note to the story, when I got there, dude offered me a taco. It's like, come on, Mingo, have a taco. It's like, oh, come on, man, come on, Mingo, plenty here. So I got one, and then he offered, hey, Mingo, you want water? It's like, no, I'm good. I got a Gatorade in a truck. Sure, Mingo. And I should have knew right then. My gringo ass was uh, uh, my my gringo ass was uh, probably should have took that water. So anyway, got a taco, sat there, started eating it, and I tell you right now, it was awesome. Probably one of the best tacos I ever ate in my life. But boy, it had a lot of stink on it. And about halfway on that taco, and this was a small Gatorade. This is one of those big Gatorades. I chugged that son of a gun. Uh, but I ate the taco. It was awesome. Told the dude, man, this is awesome. And of course, he was like, "You want another one, Mingo?" And he pretty much had it already laid out. Put the stuff on it for me and saying it to me, so I couldn't turn it down. I was a lot heavier this time too. So and ate junk all the time. Not that I don't eat junk now, but I try to keep junk at a minimum. But uh, so he gave me another one. He's like, Mingo, you want that water? It's like, yep, I'll take that water. But anyway, I digress. But we got sitting there talking after I was eating that second taco and chugging down that water at the same time. He told me it's like, hey, I was in a rough place, hanging out with rough people and doing a bunch of stuff that I'm not proud of right now. But man, when my girl told me she was pregnant, I didn't hesitate. I packed up what we could and got away from that. And at the time, I talked to him. He's like, Mingo, I got my citizenship and all that, did everything legal. But man, as soon as my girls told me she was pregnant, I didn't hesitate because I knew if we stay there, or my child be fatherless, or some other wacko might be, or some other punk might be taking care of my baby. He wasn't gonna have that. And that's his words, not mine. Well, his words, but I kind of not going to use the same words. He did say, uh, "No other punk gonna take care of my baby, my girl. That's my responsibility." And you got to give your hat, tip your hat to that one. When it came time to man up, he did. So if you're out there, I can't remember your name, but if you remember me and you're so happen to be watching this, cheers to you, buddy. But anyway, like I said, we're not here to talk about real world stuff. We're here to talk about. Actually, we kind of did talk about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, but come on, folks, is that really on up and up? I'll catch up on everybody's text messages later on. Their family and friends, so they, they know what I'm doing now, maybe. But yeah, joking, shoot, everyone is a foreigner from everywhere where I work at. Yeah, yeah, I think not huge diversity, but we don't have like only real person that's an immigrant is the Mexican dude. Everybody's either white or African American. So yes, wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. Let's talk about wrestling. Fuck that shit. Fuck story time. It's story time with Ronald Ray, baby. No, we're not doing that. Sorry. Here's good. Yeah, I seen a thing that says something about I totally forgot. But I don't drink often, so it don't take much for me to get a buzz. So anyway, yes, let's talk about the wrestling. Where's my notes at? There's my notes. Scroll up here so I can read everything. All right, so how we start every wrestling show Friday night. We talk about the history of pro wrestling. Tom, give a few, give a rundown about the what happened today in wrestling history. Of course, today is November 15th, year of our Lord 2024. But let's talk about what happened on this day in 1978. 1978, promoter Willie Gilzenberg passes away at the age of 77. Uh, from what I was reading, he was like one of the fathers of the National Wrestling Promotion or National Wrestling Alliance. Kind of got everybody together and kind of went his separate ways after that. On this day in 1981 in Toronto, Canada, at the Maple Leaf Gardens. It was the Tunney 50th anniversary show. Of course, this was the family of Jack Tunney, who was the on-screen president of the WWF back in the 80s and early 90s. I think 91 maybe. Okay, no work tomorrow. So yeah, we go. Let's see. So anyway, Maple Leaf 50th anniversary show. Attendance was 16,000 people. NWA World Champion Ric Flair defeated Holly Race. Andre the Giant defeated Killer Khan by the double. Oh, excuse me. Andre the Giant battled Killer Khan to a double DQ. Angelo Mosco defeated Big John Studd by countout. Ron Bass defeated Mike Miller. Johnny Weaver, master of the Weaver Lock, sleeper hold, defeated Charlie Fulton. Tony Parisi and Mike Davis defeated Doug Vines and Izzy Slapowitz. Gosh, I just heard a podcast where they talk about Izzy Slapowitz. I think he was a Georgia guy. Um, I think he went. I'm trying to think. Did he go with Gunkel? I want to say he went to Gunkel during the Wrestling War. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's see. On this day in 1982 in Memphis, Tennessee, Mid-South Coliseum, drawing 8,056, Carl Fergie pinned Buddy Landell. Buddy Landell, hell of a talent. I highly recommend anybody going to YouTube and watching Buddy Landell stuff. Good promo guy. If you want to see something absolutely entertaining, check out the Bill and Buddy Show uh, from Memphis, Tennessee. Anyway, Jerry Roberts, who was Jacques Rougeau, and Terry Taylor defeated the Sheepherders, Jonathan Boyd and Luke Williams, in a Coal Miners Club match. Jesse Barr, of course, Jesse Barr is more famous being Jimmy Jack Punk, pinned Dutch Mantel, bad motherfucker, to win the Mid American title. Sweet Brown Sugar, Coco Beware, and Bobby Eaton defeated Bill Dundee and Bobby Fulton. The WWA Tag Team Champions, Rick McGraw and the Dream Machine, defeated the Southern Champions, the Fabulous Ones, by DQ. Fabulous Ones doing double duty, or the Sheepers doing double duty. Jonathan Boyd and Luke Williams defeated Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Jimmy Hart and Coco Samoa, who was going by Sabu. This wasn't. I guess he's the original Sabu, but not the Sabu everybody knows. But they were calling him Sabu at the time. He would defeat him, and Jimmy Hart would defeat Jerry Lawler in a handicap man when Sabu and Lawler. As a result, Sabu won the Southern title. But yeah, he mostly wrestled as Coco Samoa. Everywhere else, Portland, a little bit in WWF. I think he was more of an enhancement guy. I think he had a bigger career in Portland area, if I could recall correctly. Moose Morowski wins the NWA Vancouver Canadian title from Mr. Pro in Vancouver, Canada. That was also in 1982. History was made in 1983 when Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, and Soul Man Rocky Johnson became the first African Americans to win WWF Tag Team Championship in a no disqualification match against the Wild Samoans on WWE Championship Wrestling. So yeah, they were actually the first African American, I guess, world champions, world tag team champions. Unfortunately, they didn't get along too well, so I don't think they have very long reign. There were stories where I think according to Tony Atlas, Rocky Johnson will forget to pick him up or something like that, but then tell the office that he wouldn't get up or whatever. So yeah, there's a little bit of friction there, but not sure if they made amends later on. Probably did. Anyway, on this date in 1986, it was Saturday night's main event. I believe this is the eighth one that took place. It took place on November 15th, 1986, in Las Vegas, California, at the Las Vegas Memorial Sports Arena, but it didn't air till November 29th on NBC. Drew a 9.7 rating. Do you remember this show? I believe this is, let's see, 1986. I think Jake Roberts was, I think, just turned babyface, but anyway, Randy Savage and Jake Roberts and ended a double DQ. Of course, I was like, come on, I want to see a DDT. I want to see Jake Roberts win the Intercontinental Championship, but he didn't. I was crying like a little boy. I really was crying, but I was kind of upset. Like, come on, let Jake. Uh, Hulk Hogan defended the WWF World Heavyweight Championship against Hercules Hernandez successfully, pinning him with a big bootleg drop. Also, we had the Killer Bees. Oh, excuse me. Roddy Piper, who was also just, pretty much turned babyface. He defeated Bob Orton with Jimmy Hart in a singles match. Killer Bees, Jim Brunzell and B. Brian Blair defeated the Hart Foundation. Coco Beware defeated Nikolai Volkov. Magnificent Morocco defeated Dick Slater. So yes, Dick Slater actually made it to the WWF. They called him, had him be a babyface, get around uh, a version of the Confederate flag. Of course, this is Northeast and around the world. Uh, I mean, at this time, like I don't want to get people. Nobody gave a shit about the flag, but still, it's like, okay, who's this redneck? It just didn't get over as well, and it was, the Dick Slater character, I guess, didn't really transfer well into WWF, and you didn't really see that much of him. But anyway, he did get defeated by Magnificent Morocco. Um, but Dick Slater was a legit tough guy, uh, and pretty over in the southeast. So they call him, the Rebel Dick Slater. Nobody knew New York cared about rebels. I mean, except for, well, let's see, this was '86, so maybe four 4 to 10 years prior to this, they were all Leonard Skinner fans, of course, or when Southern rock was popular. But Southern rock wasn't quite as popular in 1986. It was all about Motley Crue, Poison, and all that good stuff, and all that good stuff. So, just don't think the Dick Slater character got over, or the Rebel Dick Slater didn't get over too well. All right. On this day in 1989, it was Clash of the Champions 9, the New York Knockout. Do you remember this fun? This took place in Troy, New York, at the RPI Fieldhouse, drawing 4,000 people. Shown live, of course, on PBS. The Freebirds, Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes, defeated Road Warriors, Talking Animal, via DQ. Yeah, he didn't really last long there, but just don't think he really got over. I mean, you didn't really see him on the too many. He did a couple like vignette interviews or something like that, but I mean, maybe because, like I said, I didn't have cable at the time, so I didn't watch the USA. What was it? Prime time, WWF prime time, whatever it was called. That was before Raw, so I didn't watch that a lot. And usually they show a lot more field, but uh, I watched the Superstars. I watched Wrestling Challenge. That was on like Channel 5 or whatever, the other channels. But don't really remember seeing a lot of them until, of course, he came back to the Georgia Independence, Southern Championship Wrestling from Georgia. Uh, that's where I seen lot of him at. Then, of course, he would go back to Florida a little bit. Florida, I guess you can call it Independence at the time. Uh, but, but Dick Slater, I think the only knock on him, he would kind of act like Terry Funk a lot, but I'm not going to tell him that. And of course, he is kind of famous for getting in a real backstage fight with Sting. Uh, the majority of the people who were there said, yeah, it happened. Apparently, Dick Slater thought he was messing around with Dark Journey, which was his girl at the time. And he beat him up pretty bad. Apparently, but some people might say, kind of defend Sting a little bit, saying he probably didn't fight back because Dick Slater was a top star. He didn't want trouble or anything like that. I think he got fired anyway because it's rumor and innuendo. This is rumor and innuendo. Uh, let's say the very higher up person. Supposedly, can we just go ahead and say Bill Watts? Supposedly, I do not have facts. This is just what I've heard. Supposedly, he was the one messing around with him. So Dick Slater got fired. Uh, he didn't care for Jim Hellwig, Rock, who became Dingo Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, but kept Sting around, and the rest is history from there. Um, but and there's apparently he used to have fun going to bars and beating up Tampa Bay Buccaneers players. Uh, yeah, I do remember him having a T-shirt, but it was like, I mean, just didn't see much of him. Um, he also had kind of a, who was it? I think Mike Graham. I think Mike Graham talked about this in his interview, where he got in a disagreement with Bob Orton Jr. and they got in a fight, and Senior was there too, and he just looked at as he was beating the hell out of Bob Orton Jr. He looked at the old man and said, "Hey, you want some of this?" And the Senior was like, "Let y'all handle it," and uh, beat up uh, many people. Uh, beat up Bob Orton Jr. Like I said, he used to have fun. Beating up Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Supposedly, this is another rumor in window. Uh, I think it was some bar in Georgia, probably the Falcons Rest, or where what was in Swanee, the bar close to there. Supposedly, a few pro players again got mad because Tommy Rich was getting all the attention, and they were uh, not too happy about it, and they was kind of um, about to confront, pretty much confronting Tommy Rich. Say, hey, we don't like getting all the attention from the women around here because we're the NFL players. You're just a phony wrestler. Of course, Dick Slater was there, so uh, he sat there with the women while Dick Slater beat up uh, some more NFL players. So that's, of course, again, rumor. And I hate to steal somebody else's shit. Rumor and innuendo, but uh, whether it happened or not, I have no idea. So don't sue me on that one. But the one with Sting, heard plenty of times. The one with Bob Orton, heard plenty of times. I actually heard the Tampa Bay Buccaneers deal from a few shooter reviews, so you can actually Google that and probably look it up. A lot of people talking about that. Um, but yeah, Dick Slater was not a, not not a good. I think it was like Haku than Dick Slater. I mean, Dick Slater is probably a distant, second, third to Haku. So or Haku, Barbarian. Dick Slater's probably at least top five. Undertaker, of course. Uh, he was very well known to be able to take care of himself too. So don't you know definitely don't mess with any Samoan, Haku especially, Undertaker and Dick Slater, and you'll be fine. But, and if you're uh, in a bar and Dick Slater's just there and you're want to confront one of his wrestling brothers, just don't. Anyway, yes. So on this date in 1989, NWA WCW presents Clash of the Champions 9 New York Knockout. This was do remember this fondly, fondly, whatever. Uh, Definitely remember watching this one. Freebirds, Jimmy Garvin, and Michael Hayes defeated the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal by DQ. Doom, who was, I don't think now, maybe they had done a match at this time. But anyway, Doom defeated Eddie Gilbert and Tommy Rich. The Midnight Express, Bobby and Stan Lane defeated Dynamic Dudes, Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas. Never, ever, I heard a bigger pop from somebody turning heel than when Jim, I think it was Shane Douglas. They were in the ring. Lane was down. I think one of them, I think it was Shane Douglas. Acted like he didn't know what to do, but then Jim Cornette's like, "Hey, cover him, pin him, go after him," and Jim Cornette took that racket, wham, right across the back, Midnight Express. As soon as he did that, the crowd, I'm like, okay. Uh, I mean, you could not hide the fact that the crowd cheered when Jim Cornette whacked a dynamic dude, probably the most hated babyface tag team of all time. Which I get it. Uh, Johnny Ace, uh, this is Road Warrior Animal's brother, so he's from Minnesota. Shane Douglas from Pittsburgh. They might have blonde hair and all that, and probably lived in Florida at the time, but they were not skateboarders or surfers or anything. I mean, they probably hung out at the beach, and like Stan Led said, they probably hung out on the beach, built sandcastles. And, from what I heard, Johnny Ace liked to chase women, Hooters waitresses, stuff like that. But that's another rumor innuendo. But this was WCW time. Sometimes they would do stupid shit. Uh, this should call them. I think that was originally supposed to be called the Dynamic Duo, even though that name is. I don't think it. Maybe or DC Comics might have copyrighted that, so they had to change it up. Even though that Tully Blanchard and Gino Hernandez was called that one time, as well as Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams. We called that one time, but that's before anybody gave a shit about copyrights. Um, but they were called the Dynamic Dudes. Came out to the Fat Boys Wipeout song. Uh, I mean, Shane Douglas was a heck of a talent. Johnny Ace, I guess was okay. I mean, tag team was, okay, not bad. Just that whole, you skateboard surfer dudes from people from, one from Minnesota. Uh, yeah, they might have lakes, have beaches, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Not a beach. I don't think there's a beach around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Uh, Steel factories, maybe. Steel warehouse. Anyway, Steve, Dr. Death Williams pinned the Super Destroyer, which was obviously Jack Victory under a mask. Rick and Scott Steiner defeated the Skyscrapers, Danny Spivey, and Sid Vicious. I do remember this one. Scott Steiner, big, strong as a bull. Okay, he had him like in a slam, but he flipped back with it. Done a complete flip back with a Sid Vicious, and I think that's what kind of caused one of his lungs to collapse uh, or injure him somehow, and that's when he got Sid Vicious got replaced by Mean Mark Callis. So I definitely remember that one. U.S. champion Lex Luger pinned Brian Pillman, and of course the legendary I Quit match between Ric Flair and Terry Funk. Wrestled all over the place. Got back in the ring. Flair started working on that knee. And you know what happened? He slept on that figure four. Terry Funk said, I quit. And that was his last day at JTEX Corporation. Of course, Gary Hart came in and turn against him and or, uh, anyway, yeah. So yeah, remember that hell of a move from Scott Steiner. Just do that. I mean, because Sid Vicious, I mean, Steiner was big. He was probably 6 foot, but we're talking Sid Vicious, who was what 6'6" at the time. Uh, Jack, and he did a flip. Did a the power slam flip with him. Looked like he landed on his head too. Uh, like Scott Steiner landed on his head while he's doing a flip. But yeah, this is probably hardest class of the champions. Uh, fire up that Peacock and check this one out. I do recommend this one. This one was actually pretty good. Definitely dug this one. Fond memories of the classic champions I do have. Let's see. On this day in 1993, Crush defeated Jeff Jarrett to win the USWA title. However, the title was later returned to Jarrett due to outside interference. And last but not least, on this day in 1998, Survivor Series took place. This was a deadly game uh, tournament for the held up WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, that took place in St. Louis, Missouri at the Kiel Center, drawing 19,322. Dark match, Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor, too much. Defeated Matt and Jeff Hardy. Another dark match, Bob Holly and Scorpio. The Cold Scorpio defeated Legion of Doom, Animal, and Draws, not Animal and Hawk. One more dark match. Oh, two more dark matches. Val Venus defeated Tiger Ali Singh, and Gangrel defeated Steve Black. Uh, yep. And The Rock came in this thing as a babyface, and Mankind they teased that okay that we're going to be behind you all the way, Mankind. Mick Foley during this thing, and of course, first person Mankind had to face in this tournament was Dwayne Gill. Of course, uh, Mick Foley, Mankind won that one. Al Snow defeated Jeff Jarrett. Steve Austin defeated the Big Boss Man by DQ. I think this was this also the one where Big Boss Man was supposed to get involved again and he missed his cue. I do believe so. Anyway, X-Pac battles William Regal to a double DQ. Ken Shamrock defeated Goldust. Big Boss Man or Rocky Maivia pinned Big Boss Man. Undertaker pinned Kane. Mankind pinned Al Snow. Uh, Rocky the Rock pinned Shamrock. Sable pinned Jacqueline to win the WWF Women's Championship. Mankind pinned Steve Austin. This is the part where uh, I think Boss Man was supposed to come out, but he kind of screwed that up. Rocky Maivia, or The Rock, beat Undertaker via DQ. I don't know why this thing says Rocky Maivia. It's gone by pretty much The Rock at this point. WWF World Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. Yes, this is 1998, and Billy Gunn is still doing it. Not as much, he's still on TV, and he's with the Acclaim, and he's called Daddy Ass, and having somebody say, "Hey, Daddy Ass, scissor me." Yeah. But anyway, they defeated the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry in a triple threat match, and in the main event, of course, The Rock defeated Mankind to win the WWF Championship. Of course, this is the Shane McMahon was the special referee, and Vince McMahon all helped The Rock win the WWF Championship. Of course, breaking poor little Mick Foley's heart, Mankind's heart, because he thought, hey, they're here to help me to win the championship, but it didn't turn out that way. So even though the fans were pretty much cheering Mick Foley, Mankind at this point, and they were also cheering The Rock, they were quick to boo The Rock and keep cheering Mankind. lot of sympathy for mankind. Yes, this was the birth of corporate rock, uh, being the top guy at this point, and I believe him and mankind traded the championship a couple of times after this. Then that year's WrestleMania, he dropped it to Steve Austin. And that does it for this day in wrestling history. So, some good stuff happened. Good crash. Unfortunately, lost a promoter, but everything else, man, some good cards. Like I said, this is kind of a history thing. This is when this pay per view pretty much cemented The Rock as a main event attraction. So, uh, but I remember this pay per view is pretty good. Like I said, I do recommend that Clash of Champions 9. If you got the Peacock, and you might, if you dial it in and a search engine, you might find on YouTube. All right. Who's like I said, I kind of apologize. I just said was going to see Boris Malenko's Global Wrestling Alliance, but they had one show and didn't really showcase a whole lot. So I'll try to find that again another time. So I went back to the original plan, was going to show some Georgia Championship Wrestling that took place September 9th, 1981. Of course, it's labeled number 2, so I guess this was the second hour of that program. Let's see, get the link up here, share the link here. And this is, again, one of those things that I'm probably watching the first time, but definitely know kind of what was going on. Pretty much most of everything was kind of going on at this point. But let me make sure I turn this volume down. And whenever you folks are ready, I will press play. Y'all press play. Do the countdown, and everybody push play. There's still some way I can share this without getting in trouble. But maybe I'll do some research. Probably not this weekend. I'm a busy weekend. So I'll, that'll probably be during Thanksgiving week. Hopefully, I'll be like, okay, even though you want to kind of get some rest in and stuff like that, let's do a little more work. Okay, he's there. We're there. All right, countdown and 5. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 3. Can't count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now. And is that Toru Tanaka, the guy who was in some couple of James Bond movies? Mephisto, I think, not sure about his. I know he was in Georgia for a while, but I don't know where the Great Mephisto did after this. Maybe in Southeastern, but uh, but yeah, Great Mephisto. He was a manager. I want to say he also did Southeastern Championship Wrestling, but I do believe that isn't that uh, and here's the legend right here, Mr. Wrestling #2, very popular. Uh, and I'm not going to sit here and say this. From the stories I heard, he was very protective of the mask. He was one of the people who would, before he even got to the town, he would wear the mask while driving. Uh, Went to the locker room with a mask on. I think he kind of showered by himself or whatever. Put the mask back on, left the arena with the mask on, and probably didn't take it off till he got home. Uh, Made sure there was no fans following him or something, anything like that before he took the mask off. Supposedly was invited to Jimmy Carter's inauguration when he became president of the United States, but still, because he was Jimmy Carter's mother's favorite wrestler, and but he refused to take the mask off, so the Secret Service didn't let him in. That's the story. Of course, we're hearing the great Dorn Soley doing the commentary. Probably, I still say the best play-by-play commentator ever. Uh, Jim Ross in his prime was definitely #2. Got close to, but Tomahawk Thompson, I think he was just a TV enhancement talent guy. And of course, Two's longtime partner was uh, Tim Woods, who's uh, who was Miss Wrestling #1. Everybody, he unmasked himself a long time ago. Oh, that's what we need. That's what we need now. Jobber, nobody. Now everybody's got to get their shit in. Yeah, I mean that's what was. That was my when I watched the what was it? Sora Strickland and Leo Rush match, and even the Shelton Benjamin Leo Rush match. They gave Leo way too right in the breadbasket. And actually, his wrestling two's wife, Olivia Walker, she done a lot of the jackets and the robes. Like two wore, I think the ones that B Brian or the Killer Bees wore, Tommy Rich, Rick Martel, and of course Ric Flair. She she would well see that's something you didn't see a lot of back in the day. Uh, I didn't see that until a guy named Royce Gracie uh showed off that same move in the UFC convention, or US Ultimate Fighting Championships videotape. And yes, this is of course when the in Georgia the Freebirds broke up. Not sure where Buddy Roberts was. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my knock on that match. I mean, and the match with Shelton Benjamin is like, okay, I understand psychology. If you don't get some stuff in, then you kind of really are. I mean, who are you beating? And Leo Rush does have a little bit of name, but there's something called giving him a little too much. And I think Swerve and Shelton both gave him a little too much. Yeah, you got Terry Gordy there and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Of course, not playing the Samoan or Island Savage or anything like that. But yeah, this is when the Freebirds kind of broke up a little bit, and Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy feuded with each other. Not sure where Buddy Roberts was at this point. If anybody was he possibly injured or something like that. But hell, look how jacked freaking Jimmy Snuka is. Of course, Terry Gordy was always a big, you know, uh, meat and potatoes bill, but Terry Gordy could go. I mean, for a guy his size, dude could freaking go. And he started what, age 14, 15 years old? Lied about his age and was able to become a wrestler. But I mean, he was such a big kid. I mean, he looked 18, 20. Legend himself, Ray Stevens. And the legend of Ray Stevens, he was uh, like the lifestyle, the bright lights, big city lifestyle. Made millions, made $1 million, spent $2 million. But he was also probably the best bumpers in the business. Him and Nick Bonwell was a hell of a tag team, and he did. He today he's like, nah, I ain't getting paid by the hour. Give me another ham and egger. See, took a bump for the kid. And it's like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Poor Ray got the short end of the genetic stick. Yeah, but I mean, he has shot in WWE, but maybe, maybe who knows? Yeah, I mean, because I remember hearing about Ray Gordy. I mean, Ray Gordy was a heck of a worker, though. I mean, he that dude can go too, but he was definitely smaller than Terry was. Maybe 5'8", 5'10", at least, about my height. In other words, but he was a heck of a talent. It's just he wasn't WWE big guy. And it was I remember reading about him because he was wrestling at Georgia and Tennessee Independence, and heard about it. Everybody say he was great, stuff like that. Here's second generation. This guy's gonna be a star. Then he came out. And I'm like, damn, that dude's about as tall as I am. But Ray had good matches. I remember NWA Wildside. Uh, and dude had some good matches with Corey Chavis, Rayman, and Onyx, and a few others. I think what I want to say, was he the Wildside Junior champion? But yeah, he had some good matches with never really got. Okay, Dick the Bruiser, you really gotta go back and try to find something because Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher were basically the Road Warriors. They were big guys, connected, two big dusty roads. In other words, smoke cigars, drink beer, and beat people up. Ray Stevens, tell you, I think it was, I want to say it was Vern Gagne and what's that dude's name? Or it might have been Tony Charles and give me a second. I forget the guy's name every time. And I'm gonna feel stupid as soon as oh, what was that guy's name? But you gotta think, Bruiser and Crusher was, more popular in the '60s and stuff like that. Um, Billy Robson, that's his act. But yeah, you might be able to find it on YouTube. I know I was able to find it once. There's a match between Nick Bonwinkle and Ray Stevens, who were a hell of a tag team. They were with Bobby Heenan, uh, wrestled Vern Gagne and Billy Robinson. That was a hell of a freaking match. It dated a little bit, but uh, so yes, this is Brian Blair before he became a Killer B and added a B to his name, and Steve O. Sinoski. Uh, I mean, I think Steve O was a pretty good hand, but lacked charisma and stuff like that. But uh, Bill Landrum, don't know much about his career or Professor Sonoda. But yeah, he heck of a talent. I mean, if he was again WWF height, I mean him and Festus, who was I can't believe I'm like forgetting everybody's name. Doc Gallows. Festus was Doc Gallows. Um, him and him and Ray Gordy was a pretty good tag team. Seemed to be kind of popular, but okay, that's not my bad. That's not who I thought it was. why I kind of lost my spot. Actually, Toru Kamado, he's a Canadian. And no, it wasn't the guy from the. Sorry, my bad. I didn't get a good look at him, but yeah, Toru Kamado, Canadian guy who actually was a member of our United States Air Force. Uh oh. But yeah, Steve O wrestled a lot in Georgia. Was on that the Chattanooga TBS Superstars or something like that they had up there, or Georgia Championship Wrestling Superstars. That little short-lived promotion in Chattanooga. Uh, Wrestling at AWA as well because I know this is from Minnesota. Of course, this is Brian Blair, before he became the Brian Blair, member of the Killer Bees with Jim Brunzell, jumping Jim Brunzell. But he had a pretty good, running during his learning stages of his career. Pretty good runs in Florida. I believe he was friends with Mike Graham as well, and was a legit amateur wrestler. I do believe. Obviously, and that's the thing too. I mean, Tommy Rich was so freaking. I mean, especially on TBS and it's pretty much nationwide. Tommy Rich was probably the most. I mean, some people call him like even though not body wise, but as far as popularity, Hulk Hogan before there was a Hulk Hogan. Oh, we got a trophy. Something tells me that trophy needs is going to be broken. Very deep, deep, deep. A very young Michael Hayes here. And I think he also started, kind of young, 15, 16 years old as well. Uh oh. Did does anybody know if Wrestling 2 ever turned heel in Georgia? Probably not this. Probably like early. Probably like late 70s. Maybe he might have turned heel. I can't remember. I mean, I know he was heel in Mid South. He was also a heel in Southeastern and Continental. I think more Continental as he aligned himself with Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden stud stable. Uh, young Ric Flair, and there it is, the 10 pounds of gold. Now, I believe this is Ric Flair's first reign as world champion. Yeah, and I think he kind of admitted that maybe this first run as champion wasn't quite ready, but once he beat Holly Race in '83, that's when he was 100% ready to be champion. So but promo wise, ring wise, he was definitely on point at this point. But he did admit himself that maybe when he first won it wasn't quite ready, but once he did beat Harley Race in Starcade '83, he was definitely ready to have that torch passed to him. And of course, after '83, the rest is history. I mean, player. I mean, Gordon Solie, that always unbiased uh, commentator. Yes, Ken Tibbs. He wound up having a decent little career in the southeast, I believe. Maybe in Kansas City as well. I can't remember. I remember seeing him a lot in Georgia, or especially Georgia Independence at the time. Kind of did the you know Beach Blonde. So actually, excuse me, not southeast, southwest. He was partners with Eric Emery as a version of the Fabulous Blondes. Uh, was a United States Junior Heavyweight Champion. Yes, and he wrestled at Central States. Then teamed with Dusty Wolf again as the Hollywood Blondes in Florida. I think he wrestled in Mexico as well. Was actually a police officer and security guard in the state of Georgia. I mean, he was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Him and his wife had 8 sons and one daughter. But it's kind of a little weird seeing Jimmy Snuka with wrestling boots on. Again, I think this is a. I think somebody mentioned might have been a Ole Anderson call. Say, hey, we wear boots here. We're wrestlers, not savages. But I mean, Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka were a hell of a tag team during this period. And I was about to say that's Nick Patrick, the referee. Of course, he is the son of the assassin Jody Hamilton, Bobby Garrett. I think he pretty much was just a enhancement enhancement guy throughout his career. course, Jimmy Snuka, quite a controversial person, especially in the last few years of his life when kind of an old case kind of reared its ugly head. Was the subject of Dark Side of the Ring. Actually, I'm going back watching Dark Side of the Ring. Mentioned that last night. I'm on the Chris Benoit episode. Garrett's like, that's enough. Garrett's like, dang it. Or Bobby Garrett. And we are going to see that Superfly Splash. Yeah, that'd be a good time to have a DeLorean time machine right now. That's a team you probably wouldn't, especially if you knew the history a little bit. I don't think you would think about seeing the team of Michael Hayes and Kevin Von Erich against Terry Gordy and somebody else, especially Von Erich. Kevin was always in really good shape as well. Of course, what was it like another year or two? They started a big Von Erich Freebird feud in World Class. Basically made Fritz and the World Class Championship Wrestling a lot of money. Sold out to the rafters, as they would say. And of course, this is kind of weird too, seeing Kevin Von Erich with wrestling boots on as well. And of course, Michael Hayes and Terry Gore, uh, their workout consisted of drinking fists of Jack Daniels. Yep, Snuka and Gory said, "Oh, that's enough. We're good." Yeah, this is back when uh, fans, bought into it. They obviously like Michael Hayes and Tommy Rich and Wrestling 2, all those folks. And uh, when they were down, the fans were there trying to pick them back up. And uh, when things got really heated and that big comebacks and stuff like that, that's when the crowd went came back alive. And like I said, 1981. This is before the whole everybody's got to have a freaking you deserve it or whatever kind of chants going on. And some of the chants are okay, but sometimes it's like, yeah. But it was simple, let's go Kevin or let's go Tommy or beat him up Tommy or shit like that. Here's another legend, Danny Brown, downtown Danny Brown. Just kidding. He's kind of a legend too, but mass superstar. When I was a few years ago when started getting like tapes and stuff like that, and was able to get like old Georgia Championship Wrestling tapes and stuff. Uh, could definitely see why the Mass Superstar was a uh, top star. I mean, dude's freaking big. Two is big, and of course, this is Bill Eddie, who became Demolition Axe. But but definitely spent some time in the gym himself. Probably not the washboard ass, but just steaks, weights, and everything else. But dude is a hell of a talent. This is him being Mass Superstar. And I watched his interview too. He was one of the Mongols or something like that. So it was uh as he call it, eyes, ears, and throat specialist. Basically, pull the rate the eyes, pull the ears, choke. That's all they had to do. So when they had I think it was George Scott who said, "Hey, spoilers leaving. There's a opening for another masked wrestler. I got this idea." And his Mongol tag team part was want to go home anyway. So uh, he said, "Hey, I need it." Even though I did when I trained to be a pro wrestler, I knew how to do the holds, counter holds, but being a Mongol, I didn't really have to do that as a Mongol. So now I'm getting this new character. I need to kind of be more of a uh, learn holds and do these holds that make this character work. And he said nobody really had a clue that he was a Mongol, because he of course put the hood on, covered up pretty well, and everything else, and changed his wrestling style. Of course, again, as we all know, he would change his wrestling style one more time when he became Demolition Axe. And I think that's going to be it. Clothesline. Now he's got the Cobra on. He was actually a school teacher before he became a pro wrestler as well. He's bringing out all kinds of furniture to ease on one Tommy Wildfire Rich. And of course, you do hear the women from the crowd. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I wish I was a little older in 1981 and during this time. At least driving age, and was it, had some money. I mean, definitely hear all the women cheering for Tommy Rich. Hey, I wonder if Missy Hyatt's out there in the stands somewhere. Do we see a young Missy Hyatt out there? Well, no, I think she was probably going around 83. That's right, because uh Jake Roberts broke her in. And that's, I mean, you hear the crowd right there. That's not being piped in. That's people actually getting. I mean, yes, it's a small studio crowd, but still, That's women, of course. Most a lot of women in that crowd. Uh, they're all cheering for Tommy Rich. Nothing piped in or anything like that. What the hell is that, Mackenzie? Uh oh. It's time to get fired up. I say somebody about to get fired up here. And of course, Tommy Rich is also famous for yeah, this is definitely pre-sports entertainment. This is a white meat baby face. Ain't take no shit from nobody. Tommy Rich. Of course, Tommy Rich is famous for doing 12-ounce curls himself and chasing around women. Well, actually, at this point in his career, I don't think he had really chased any. As popular as he was, I do believe he just probably just had to sit there and they just you know throw themselves at him. So you don't see none of that now. It's anybody giving up or conceding to a domino stretch. Of course, there were no tap outs at this time. Didn't nobody know what a tap out was. You give up. You say, "I give up, Uncle. I concede. Whatever." What the hell? Commercial? Ew. Probably had out nasty dog water. And it's Pepsi. No offense, Pepsi drinkers. That shit's nasty. I think that shit's nasty. It's an adventure. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was just talking about. Pepsi's freaking nasty. Nice people. There we go. Yeah, I just don't. I honestly just don't know much about the Great Mephisto. Maybe I think I remember seeing him on some old Southeastern Championship Wrestling stuff. That ain't gonna work for me today, brother. He was going for a titty twister. That's what he was going for. Heck, yeah, I don't remember much of uh, which one I was just reading about him. I think he, mostly Canada, some here and there. Fisto, just don't remember much from him whatsoever. I guess they couldn't get Skandar Akbar, so they got this guy. So I guess Ole was like, hey, okay, we have one barefooted weirdo. We can't have everybody be barefoot and savages. And there's that nerve hole. I remember being a kid having somebody come by. Yeah, he might have been the Stampede version because I think I know that's where this other guy. That's where he's from. I didn't read everything. Just read little bits and pieces. But yeah, I remember being a kid and freaking somebody would go behind you and freaking grab you like right there. And trust me, yes, that does hurt. But apparently, he was also the manager at one time of Abdullah the Butcher. So, like I said, I might have to crank up the Google machine and learn more about the Great Mephisto. He's got that Japanese armbar again. So yeah, we get not not the usual thing to see Wrestling 2 or Tommy Rich use submission holds to pin their opponents. Best Wrestling 2 usually uses that $1 million knee lift, and Tommy Rich used the Lou Thesz press, but both of them use submission holds uh, on this episode. So yeah, uh, exciting little episode of Georgia Championship Wrestling. Got to see hell face you know who's who. Got to see Hall of Famers: Ric Flair, Terry Gordy, Jimmy Snuka. Probably a couple people who should be in that Hall of Fame. I guess not WWE, but I mean, why not? They own it. if they own the library, maybe they should incorporate you them in their Hall of Fame, like Tommy Rich, Mr. Wrestling 2. Also got to see, and there's been talk of maybe having Demolition in the Hall of Fame before, but I mean, Bill Eddie, he definitely had three uh different characters. He was a Mongol, he was a mass superstar, a technical wrestler. They went back to being a brawler uh, as Demolition Act. So definitely, Bill Eddie should be in a WWE Hall. And of course, Mass Superstar did do a little program, or was in the WWF for a little bit, I think, or later '80s, something like that. He had, I think, a brief feud with Eddie Gilbert where he broke his neck using that swinging net breaker. But so yeah, definitely. If you want to see a good big guy technical wrestler, definitely look up some more Mass Superstar. And of course, what you can't say about Miss Wrestling 2. Uh, very it's very interesting story about Miss Wrestling 2 is that his real name is, say it, Johnny Walker. I guess everybody knows it now. He wrestled for a few years as uh, Johnny Rubberman Walker because he was very flexible and stuff like that. And I think he was about to be out of the business pretty much. And not, I guess, I want to say maybe Georgia was about to lose on Miss Wrestling 1, Tim Woods. He was, I guess, going. Seems like there was maybe been promised to make him a world champion one time. That being Tim Woods. Of course, he's very famous for being that same plane crash with Ric Flair. Um, Timmy Woods, whose real name was George Burl Wooden. Let's see. Yeah, he probably was getting a little older at the time. He didn't start. Tim Woods didn't start his career till the age of 28. According to this, and yes, he was in the same plane crash. Uh, he would actually retire in '83. Ran a heating and air conditioning business. Uh, collector of motorcycles, photographer, and saxophone. Uh, seems like it. I did read a book about some stuff. It's one of those books that do you really want to go into that? But anyway, let's see. Yeah, 1972, Walker was semi-retired, running a gas station in Tennessee. Georgia promoter Paul Jones and Booker Leo Garibaldi asked him to return and wrestle as Mr. Wrestling 2, introduced as a original partner of Mr. Wrestling. Uh, this would take place in many instances. Eddie Graham, the owner of the NWA Florida promotion, was also part owner of Georgia. Graham was sending talent back and forth between two promotions, and this was due to the promotional war that occurred in Atlanta over a dispute of Ray Gunkel's widow and Gunkel and her outlaw promotion, All South Wrestling. Uh, he became an immediate top star in Georgia. 10 reigns as the Georgia heavyweight champion. Uh, he was considered one of probably top five most popular wrestlers in the United States. And of course, I mentioned before, attracted a high profile fan and Jimmy Carter, who was governor of Georgia at the time. Um, but yeah, I guess his wife Olivia also did uh, the jackets for Porter Wagner. I knew it was somebody. But don't really like just bring him in as a partner. I have to read up about that, but I guess uh, they wanted another Mr. Wrestling, but they didn't want to just put somebody in a mask and call him Mr. Wrestling. So they first, I'm guessing, I could be wrong. Anybody's got a better memory of this? They put them together as partners, and I guess Tim Woods is going to try to uh, be a world champ, something like that. But like I said, this two came very popular. Uh, he was actually trained by Tony Morelli and Pat O'Connor. He actually from 1966. Oh, he wrestled in the early 70s. He wrestled in the independent circuit in Florida under the mask as the grappler. So he's a grappler before Linden. But yep, pretty cool stuff. Like I said, it should be. Uh, I'm pretty sure it probably won't now because he's no longer around. Uh, I'm not sure how many kids him and his wife had, and I'm pretty sure. Let's see. We had three sons: John Jr., Robert, and Mike. Uh, so not sure any of them. Yeah. Uh, but anyway. But Tommy Rich also he was probably the first mainstream cable wrestling star at the time. So he definitely needs to have his day in the spotlight. Uh, but whether this happens is very very doubtful, obviously. Uh, but, but yeah, of course, you had some another up and comers. You had Denny Brown, who had a career being the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. I went during that one match with Ken Timms. Kind of ran through his career. He was a member of the Hollywood Blondes. Two versions of it, one with Eric Embry and one with Dusty Wolf. I think the one of him and Eric Embry did a little bigger business. But but yeah, definitely cool stuff from Georgia. Would like I said, love to get some stuff from the Atlanta Wrestling Award, especially All South Georgia Championship Wrestling at the time. Probably at the time, when I hear they would always just recycle the tape basically and reuse the same ones over and over. Maybe guess they didn't realize. I mean, I get it. Supposedly those tapes were expensive, but I bet you if they would realize how much that'd be worth today, they would, you know, they wouldn't mind, give up a little more, a chunk of money for those tapes, not just like, but they would definitely be worth a lot of money now, especially when the WWE Network kicked in and Vince was buying every tape library at the time. But sometimes other people might have money and would have bought those tapes as well, especially in this age of streaming networks and things of that sort. Anyway, think I'm gonna call it a night for the night. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody jumping in on the chat. Uh, Again, if you watch this on replay, feel free to leave comments and share some memories of Georgia Championship Wrestling that you might have during this period or anything else I discussed tonight. Yes, definitely check out that New York Knockouts Clash of Champions. It's definitely one to watch. And that's, so that was 89. This is 81. Ric Flair, well, didn't really see, but seen a picture, but, and that was his first reign, I do believe. But all in all, cool stuff. So, Hopefully, everybody has a good weekend. Everybody take it easy. Have a good one. Until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Thank you for checking out our P2 Vision. Subscribe to our P2 Vision to watch Ronald Ray's content that covers the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. His weekly content starts off with Wrestling Trivia Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Ronald Ray asks 5 questions about the sport of professional wrestling. So tune in and have some fun. Then it's WWE Monday Night Raw recaps, where he recaps all the action from the Raw brand. Ronald Ray also does an AEW Dynamite recap show where he recaps and has fun doing it. Do you like live streams? Well, join Ronald Ray live on Spot Show Livestream, where he discusses current wrestling. Join the chat and have fun. Spot Show Livestream is on Thursday nights starting at 8 p.m. If current pro wrestling isn't your thing, like all wrestling past and present, or you're a new fan and want to hear how things were back in the day, then tune in to Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where Ronald Ray discusses back in the day when wrestling was wrestling, featuring watch-alongs. That's Wrestling Gold Friday Night on Fridays starting at 8 p.m.